Hello viewers, welcome to a new episode of Footprints right here on Solar TV. My name is Sandra Agyeman, your host for this program, and today we are going to have a new guest again. But before I introduce him, I would also like to take this opportunity to tell you a bit more about this program, which is a program designed to showcase some of our Ghanaian individuals who have done remarkable things in their lives, and we use them as a role model for the younger ones to also emulate. Today, our guest is a young man called Mr. Enoch K. Baffour Owusu. He holds a master's degree in finance and law from the Duisenberg School of Finance in Amsterdam, the Netherlands to be precise, and also a Bachelor of Administration from Green Hill College in Accra, Ghana. Mr. Owusu is currently working as a compliance officer at the ABN AMRO Bank, and prior to that, he had the opportunity to actually complete his internship at the Solvec Venture Capital as an investment analyst. Before traveling to the Netherlands, Mr. Owusu, among various initiatives, also held a position as a business development executive at Nova Capital Partners in Accra, Ghana. I won't talk too much, I will just introduce him to the show. And I would also like to take this opportunity to actually thank you for always watching, and please continue watching, and we will come your way always with interesting stuff. So, Mr. Owusu, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
Yes.
Can we keep it just at Enoch?
Enoch.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you don't want me to refer to you as Mr.
No, really.
Actually, I like the name Owusu.
It's a nice name.
Yeah, because it is my name as well. At least my viewers do not know, but officially my name is Sandra Agyeman.
Really?
Yes, but I lost it, so.
Yeah.
But since I'm not allowed to, I'll just stick with Enoch. How about you?
It's more, I think, personal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
By God's grace, I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
And having a good time, also joining in to discuss my life, I'll say.
Interesting. You're looking very handsome too, if I may say.
Thank you very
so,
much.
Tell me, you as I just read or introduced you, obviously you were not born here.
No.
You were born back
in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Ghana, as I mentioned, is of course a warm place, and warm not only in terms of the weather, but in terms of the people. So being home, you really feel comfortable, and that is where I grew up. So I have the scope of my social contact there is much wider, from kindergarten all the way through to university. So I would say Ghana is always a place that I miss. I keep talking about it and post a lot on Facebook, and people tend to tease me a bit here and there. Sometimes I wish I was in Ghana, in fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do
so,
really miss home.
Where in Ghana did you stay exactly?
I was born and grew up in Kumasi, but also studied in Accra. So these are the two regions that I know very well. But I've also traveled around, so Ghana for me is a place that I know quite well.
Well, I'm from Kumasi myself. I'm a Kumasi and I'm an Ashanti girl. But and I'm going to ask, Kumasi and Accra, which one would you prefer to stay?
It's a difficult question to
It shouldn't be difficult for someone that was born in Kumasi.
For me, it will be Kumasi.
Amen.
Maybe you made the question easier, but obviously Kumasi is the place I would choose.
Okay.
Kumasi, yeah.
So coming from then you went to university in Accra.
I studied.
How was university like?
It was quite difficult, I must admit, because I went to Accra with lots of things that I wanted to do, and did not only intend to study. Whilst in school, I was even contemplating setting up my own company. So I think my ambitions were maybe a little bit too high. But then also I had frustrations with accommodation in Accra, because I had a housemate dying where I lived, and we did not know exactly what the problem was, so then I had to vacate my place, and it frustrated my studies, especially in my second year. But I still managed to pick up my grades, and it was still fun. looking at the academic work, you were introduced to concepts that you had never thought of, some of the things you have experienced, but I don't think of them in terms of academic knowledge. So the experience was good, and I had to also study with people much older than my age. So some of them tried to kind of serve as my uncle and aunties, and it was nice overall. It was a good experience, and being able to go to university, I really liked, because I grew up in an environment where people would not normally go to school up to that level. So having the opportunity to be there, I was also motivated to come out with some good things.
Okay.
You know, like,
so tell me something, because in Ghana, at least when I speak to somebody who had been to school in Ghana, then I always wonder, back in school, because in Ghana we have this sort of competition in school, which is at the end of the year, we always have, if the class is filled with 40 people, that we have the people from 1 to 40.
Yeah.
In your case,
yes.
where were you mostly at?
I was mostly within the first six by
6.
primary school, and looking at my GPA, which is your grade point average at the university level, you can say I'm within the top 1% of the university.
Okay, so actually you're that kind of guy that most students will not actually like, or they will like you, but that's just for you to help them pass their exams.
Particularly at the university.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still don't see myself as also exceptional. I feel I was in the right place. Also, because it's important to identify what you're good at to pursue it. The unfortunate thing is that quite a number of people, for various reasons, end up studying what they do not want to, or what they should not, do.
Yeah.
So personally, I was being encouraged by my parents to study medicine, and my mom wanted me to at least do pharmacy.
Yes.
Because it's also quite related to medicine, and I wanted to be a footballer. So the combination is quite.
that's a deviation. Were you good in playing football then?
At least I captained my school team at the primary school level.
Oh.
And when I entered junior high school, then my parents realized it was getting that serious, so they wanted me to stop. But still, I managed to get into the school team when I was in Form 1. And there I was, talked to by my parents over and over about how important it is to pursue my books. And I can relate to their concerns. Initially, it wasn't that easy, but now I can see why they were emphasizing that I quit football to focus on my studies. Because in Ghana, you don't have the soccer academies through which you can groom your, soccer, talent and then still pursue your education. So it's either you make a choice for school or football, and we have so many kids who don't end up getting that far in football and can't do much in life because they didn't also get education or get any sort of training in any other area. So I can see why they wanted me to work. But even now, my heart is quite.
I was about to ask you, but I have another question in mind. So, but then I'll ask, because I was about to ask you as to now when you think about it.
Yeah.
Are you still like maybe somewhere at the back of your mind thinking, I should have been a footballer?
Well, when I came to the Netherlands and I played with some of my mates at the Downtown School of Finance, a number of them were teasingly asking, why are you studying finance? You could have made a lot more money playing soccer. So I still play. Quite recently I played in a competition organized by ABN AMRO.
Okay.
And scored 2 goals that I really loved, because it was a long time I had played.
You're proud of it, I can see it.
So I really like soccer, and if my kids will have the talent, I'll encourage them to do it.
You will encourage them to do it. You will not push them into going into finance or law or becoming a doctor.
No, and I don't accuse my parents of having done anything bad with their decision. But I think they looked at the environment and could see, if you look at the situational analysis, back in Ghana, if you wanted to play football, you had to quit education.
Yes.
If I had quit education and for some reason could not have, got into a higher level in football, then you don't have any options. And I know quite a number of guys who managed to play football up to a certain level, and even at the national teams, at the junior levels, like at the under 17.
Yeah.
And after that, you can see they are struggling to manage their lives because they didn't have any education. So
Okay. Well, that's the thing. And another question, because that was just something I wanted to ask earlier. What do you think was the main force behind you having good grades all the time?
I was purposeful. because I had an idea exactly why I was studying.
Okay.
I wasn't studying because I wanted to pass the exams, to be frank, and so I went to lectures trying to get knowledge, to see why things are done differently around the world, and why we do things the way we do, why we are described as underdeveloped, why do other people create companies that become multinationals. And so from a very early stage of my studies, I knew for a fact that I want to go to the US to do an MBA.
Okay.
And had requested for brochures from very top universities, some of which I still have, since 2005.
Okay.
Whilst I was studying my bachelor's in 2006. So I was trying to get a long-term view of my career, and came to understand that people were doing very great things from the knowledge they've acquired through school, the education. So I wanted to be sure I developed myself. And so it wasn't a matter of just going through the university, and had a clear idea of what grades I would need to be able to go to top universities. So the emphasis was on trying to study and understand things, and make sure I show my competence through the grades that I have.
Yes.
And so I was very much, focused on my grades. In fact,
you are a good student.
Thank you, my teacher.
Unlike some of us. But tell me something. What has been some of the challenges that you've had to go through when you first came here, apart from it being extremely cold?
Yeah. Which is a very good point too.
Because you want to point it out that it is extremely cold.
In my first year, when I was studying, and I studied a master's degree in finance and law, so you require a lot of courses in finance, a lot of courses in law, none of which is easy, and you have to adjust, you have to hit the ground running because you got here in August, and then you have to start your lectures right away, and you have to perform because they pick or handpick students from various countries who are competitive in their classes that they've attended in various subject lines, and we've been put together to sort of prove why we are there.
Yes.
And so it was difficult, and trying to adjust to the weather, and at the same time not liking the food, but having to try to make do with it and keep on studying. At some point it was tough. I remember in somewhere December when the weather changed quite significantly. I think my psychological clock was also not attuned yet.
Yes.
So I'll be awake at night, then I could go to the lecture hall and I'll be feeling sleepy. And you don't like that because bad students sleep in class, and you don't want to come across as a bad student. So you drink as much coffee as you can, and then you start having headache or migraine, and you're still trying to keep up with the coursework. So it was tough, but I think it was good preparation for what I'm currently doing now.
Yes.
I sometimes have to go to work at 7 a.m. And you have to keep up with the pace of things. So that was a good introduction to the kind of life I was aspiring to career-wise. So it was good.
Okay. Well, so from what I just heard, as in what you just told me, is that actually your dream as a child was actually to become a footballer, and now you are, let me say, a banker.
Yeah.
How is that going? Are you still liking your decision, or you're thinking?
I'm very happy to be working in the business environment, not just as a banker. And personally, I don't see myself as a banker, to be frank with you. I look at everything I've done and what I'm looking forward to doing as preparation for something much more than just banking. Okay. So for me, the experience I'm gaining, working in banking, is good for a number of things. If you work in a bank, you understand how the economy works.
Yes.
And having a very good understanding of how the economy works, you can better position yourself as to what you really want to do to serve society.
Yes.
Because banking, in fact, is an agent of society. That's how I look at it. I look at finance broadly as the means through which we distribute economic resource. And that is why free market economies normally would have financial institutions, like we have them in Netherlands. So I think the experience is just helping me to develop myself, and I'll go on ahead to do a lot more. Okay. Than just banking.
You were very ambitious. So tell me, do you have any personal motto that you use to guide yourself?
I think I have quite a number.
A number? Please, if you will do me the honor and at least give me one. Maybe I might end up also using it, or some of our younger ones, or even older ones will take something out of it.
I see life pretty much as a candle which you lit and will burn away.
Yes.
So we are born into this life, and either way you have to grow, and at some point you have to stop growing.
Yes.
Once you are alive, you have no other option than to make the most of the opportunity to be alive. So I look at every day as an opportunity to do something good for myself and of course people around me. And so depending on the situation I find myself in, I pull out a single motto and I go by that. But I look at life as a candle which is burning, and you can only do, as in shine brightly, as bright as you can shine. Can only do as much as you can do.
Until the candle is completely there. That's fine.
No other option besides that.
That's the sad part about life. Yeah. So, viewers, that was it then for the early stages of Enoch's life. But before we go on to your professional life, can you describe yourself in 3 words to me and also to our viewers?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I'll say Ghanaian.
Yes.
Ashanti.
Yes.
And Christian.
Amen.
Those are, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
They stand out.
Obviously, you like your descendants, where you come from, Ghanaian, Ashanti.
Yeah. I would have also said the son because I like my mom so much.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. I hope she finds ways and means to actually watch this.
She will definitely say it. She comes to the events quite often.
Oh, okay. Well,
one way or the other, she will watch it.
I'm sure she will be very proud.
Yeah.
So now on to your professional life. How is the work environment like, as in your relationship with your colleagues and stuff like that?
It is quite interesting to start with, because having worked here, it's allowed me to see the differences in our cultural orientation. Initially, when I started working, it was tough because you try to do as much as possible to come across as a good colleague. But sociologists will tell you that Africans are from a collectivist background, whereas Europeans are more individualistic. That is not to put them in a bad light, but the fact is that they place a lot more emphasis on the individual. So sometimes when you're on the tram, for instance, and you see an elderly person, you want to get up from your seat and offer it, you think you're doing something good. But not all of them will like it. Because they have a different interpretation. So with the differences in the interpretation, when you're working with people, you always need to understand and try go the extra mile to make a conscious effort to try to pick out exactly what they want from you. And it was initially difficult. Because sometimes if you're not careful, you just might think that somebody is even being too demanding. But with time, when you begin to understand each other better, you can, understand what is expected and do just exactly that. Okay, so in your own word or your own estimation, what do you think are some of the challenges young people, at least at let me say at your age, go through to secure a job like the one you have? I will look at my background as a Ghanaian in Netherlands, and I think the challenge has a lot to do with the cultural orientation. Partly also you can say the language barrier, because I don't speak Dutch yet, and that means there are only some particular positions I can, apply for. So that limits the number of jobs you can obviously, look at when you're looking for a place to work. But beyond this, I think when you get the opportunity to go into the company, you should see yourself as an agent, as an ambassador, and create the positive vibes that will encourage people you're working with to look beyond and see that not only can they work with people of their same color, but they can in fact have positive interactions and working relationships with people from other parts of the world. So when I did my internship at Silver, I think within the first 3 months I was doing quite well. It was also difficult because I had my thesis to look at, and then I was attending lectures and was working, I think, 4 times a week. So 4 days out of 5. So it was quite challenging. But after my contribution within the first 3 months, one of the guys within the team decided to look for another intern from the school. So even though he was moving to a different company, he still went back to the same school that I've been through, just to pick somebody to also intern.
But that was also because you did such a great job. So
that is my understanding.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but I think that is also something that is actually our job as Ghanaians. If we think our nationality is a form of barrier in terms of finding the right job, it's our job as Ghanaians that if we do find a job in certain places, that we leave a very good legacy behind for them to think that, oh, if whenever a person's CV falls on their table and, oh, it's a Ghanaian, that at least they will not just put it away, but they will actually look at what this person can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is something for some of us to actually think of later on. Well, and also another thing, because you left your family behind, your friends and the people you actually love, like the way you said your friends from high school. You left everybody behind to come here. So how do you spend your holidays?
Well, I haven't had a holiday since I came to the Netherlands.
But I mean, Christmas is like.
Yeah.
How do you spend Christmas?
Yeah, it's been mostly work, schooling. So, as you met me last Friday at the library, even when I'm on break, I spend a break at the library. And so I haven't had the opportunity to go back to Ghana to visit. Luckily for me, my mom has been here. My stepdad lives just over close by, I would say in London. And my biological dad also lives in Ghana. So in a way, I feel like I have my family not exactly in Ghana. So that also allows me to think away from Ghana a bit and not feel like I'm far away from home.
Yeah.
And luckily, I also have an auntie here and cousins. So that helps me to, kind of touch base with family. And,
okay.
Yeah.
So career-wise, any future plans?
Looking to maybe go to the US within the next few years to do an MBA. And it's something that I've looked at even before I completed my bachelor's. So it has been on my long-term career plan. And it's something that I can take out because I believe it's strategic asset in my career plan. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. Career-wise, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so I can talk about marriage.
Oh. Viewers, this brings me and us to the end of the first segment. It has been very interesting. He's an interesting young man. So stay tuned. We will come back very soon. But don't forget, like I always say, don't forget about the Facebook page, Footprints with Sandra Agyeman. Make sure you like it. And if you have any questions or comments, there's an email address. You can just email us. And thank you very much for watching. And then we'll be right back. Hello viewers, welcome back to the second episode of Footprints with Enoch Baffour Owusu. Our conversation has been very interesting. We will continue on, but like I said before I left, was that not to forget to like my Facebook page, which is Footprints with Sandra Agyeman. The more likes we get, the more we can continue with this program. So please do. And also, don't forget, if you have any comments or suggestions or any requests, do send it to the email address that will be displayed underneath. We will continue right where we left off. So join us, and I hope you will enjoy it. So Enoch, tell me something new about yourself. Are you married?
No, and I was looking forward to answering this question.
Why?
Because you previously asked, so I knew it was going to feature prominently. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so do you have any children accidentally?
No, children cannot be born accidentally. But I get your point. I don't have any kids.
You see, that should be the characteristics of a proper gentleman. Children can never be born accidentally. So if you have a child and you say it was an accident, you have to start asking yourself a few more questions. So I know your work is very busy.
Yeah.
You know, you have a very busy lifestyle. And even when you're not working, you're at the library, which is where you actually live.
My second home.
Your second home. You love being
Right.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you do that? Is the books that interesting? Tell me something. Because it's not everybody that likes reading that
Yeah.
much.
I think it has to do also with my upbringing. Because when I was about 13 years, no, my mom had an agreement with me.
Yeah.
That by the age of 13, she would want me to read the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And in there you have quite a number of chapters, right?
Yes.
So we had an agreement to read 4 chapters in the morning, 4 chapters in the evening. And so you go to school, you come back and you read it. And she wanted me to win, but I did not know. So she was reading, of course, but she was looking out for me to be able to complete the whole, Bible. And after reading it, I realized how much you can read and how much there is to know.
Yes.
So I have this kind of feeling that when I read something and I understand something and I see something I previously had not come across, I'm very happy. It makes me happy.
Okay.
So I jot it down somewhere, and sometimes you sit and think through. Some people ask you, why do you sit in the library for so long? Do you read so much?
Yes.
But sometimes you just pause after a while, and you think through something you've seen. It can be 1 + 1 that you see it differently now. You're reading it the 3rd time. So
you just said this challenge that your mom had you do. Did you actually finish? Did you read the Bible from the beginning to the end by the time you were 13 years old?
Yeah, I did.
So that actually means you can even be a pastor.
Well,
because you know the Bible.
Good point. Well,
so that means also, if I should say like, what is that? Galatians 1 verses 2. You should know.
No. That I have to admit, because we have quite a number of verses.
Yeah, I know.
So I can say I know all the Bible stories. If you say something that is not in the Bible, I can see it is not in the Bible. If you say something that is in the Bible, I can say I know it is in the Bible.
Well, I tried reading the Bible from beginning to the end. I mean, for myself, not necessarily, because sometimes I feel like I have to know, so that when someone is preaching to me or telling me something, that I know that what the person is saying is actually accurate, but I never really got any further than that.
What was your plan?
I mean, I had a plan. There was this Bible reading plan on my phone that I was following, and I even had one that could take you through the year. Every day you had to read something, but at the end it didn't really work out like that.
If you read 4 chapters a day, you'll be able to finish in 1 year.
Unfortunately, some of us are not like you, so...
No, don't put it as such. I think it was also the motivation from
my mom, and
I was
young,
and so...
But that's the thing, sometimes it's a parent's role to actually teach their children certain aspects of things in life, and it stays with them as they grow. So that's a very good job your mom did right there from the beginning. So viewers, this brings us to the last part of this interview slot, which is the general issues and advice segment. During this segment, we debate, we just discuss certain issues and current issues in our community, and we share our ideas and just try to learn from each other. So, Enoch, the question is that recently the number of child delinquency just is been going up. Before it wasn't like that. Before Ghanaians were known to be very modest and calm, but lately the figures just keeps going up, and parents are worried. And the community is also worried, especially the community leaders who are now being approached with why is it going this way? And they first have to actually indicate the problem, or actually identify the problem before they can even think of a solution. So what do you think are some of the causes of all these young people falling into crimes and bank fraud and living some certain kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it's better to start with parenting. Parenting is a very important aspect of life, but unfortunately we don't get any formal training on how to raise a child. And according to sociologists, I keep mentioning sociologists, I like sociology.
I can see
I never studied. But they will tell you that the family is the first agent of socialization. So kids are born into families and parents have the first opportunity to influence them. So my mom used to tell me, as a child, you are like a plain book and I have to write what goes in there. When I was very young, I didn't understand it. But if I look at myself, in spite of what somebody will say, that maybe I'm hardworking or ambitious, as you may have used the word, I think my mom in particular had a big influence on what I'm doing now with my life. So I would say parents, not to blame them, must make every effort to establish a very good relationship with their children.
Yes.
You have children looking through Facebook into an outside world, children looking through Instagram into an outside world. You know, the social media is such a fascinating channel through which you can learn a lot of things. But I believe that parents should first establish the bond of love, the respect that you need with their kids, and the trust of their children. I think that is very important. You know, as Africans, we are trained to obey your parents.
Yes.
So the respect that we accord to our parents sometimes is not born out of trust and or respect and. It is mostly based on the fact that they are older.
Yes.
And looking at what some older people can do, you can't respect everybody or give everybody the same measure of respect just because of their age. So I think parents must make an effort to establish very good relationships with their children when they are very young, and make it possible for the children to trust them.
Yes.
Not every child trusts a parent. I believe that if a child trusts a parent, when it comes to situations where they have to choose between what the parent told them and what they have seen outside, even if they are not sure, they are likely to go with their parents because they are bringing them up, they see them every day, so that level of intimacy between them helps the child to make decisions that reflect the kind of upbringing the parent has given them. So I think parents must make a conscious effort to try to relate very well with their children.
Yeah.
It is out of that you can really influence them. The second point I will put across is, if you look at the Netherlands, it is, a specimen of the global village in itself. You have people from various parts of the world living here, so you have an introduction of various cultures. And if you look at the kind of people we are as Ghanaians, or how we see ourselves, and the kind of cultural orientation some of the people we live with in Amsterdam alone have, you can clearly see that whereas in Ghana, nobody accepts that you smoke cigarettes. Here in Amsterdam, it is acceptable if you smoke Indian hemp, which in Ghana will be a no-no.
Yes.
So when you have a child you are trying to bring up and you tell them not to do something that the wider society seems to accept, they may even feel as a parent that you don't even know what you're talking about. Because that is also another issue with the youth. We tend to think we know so much more than our parents at certain ages. We think we know so many things that they don't know. So it is quite challenging for the youth themselves to really look at the myriad of cultures and identify where they belong, what they should keep to.
Yes.
And so it is not a matter of blaming a parent or blaming a child, but I think it requires a lot of effort on various parts, various stakeholders have to come together to identify what is it that does not help the children to identify where they want to go in life. And when you are young, you may even think that life is one big party because there's always something fun happening somewhere. So it's always difficult for the young ones to see clearly how the fun they want to have detract from the various attentions that they must give to other aspects of their life. So I think it is a challenge for the young people, and we must do as much as we can to help them identify where they want to go to, or what they want to do.
Yeah. Well, that also adds to it, because research actually has proven and has shown that a quarter of the Ghanaian youth, as in the ones that are actually they are at the age that they are supposed to be working, are unemployed at this very moment, which is a very serious issue. And here you are. You were not born here.
No.
And you came here not so long ago. Yeah. And still you've managed to secure a job.
Yeah.
What do you think that the young ones here, as in that quarter, what do you think they are doing wrong. That is not making them be able to secure a job.
This will be a multifaceted issue. There will be a lot more factors at play, and some of these factors that I can already identify is that the children born here in the Netherlands, to parents from Ghana and some other African countries, are not encouraged to be that competitive.
Yeah.
I think coming from Africa, if you were born here and you travel back to Ghana and you see the kind of life some people, are leading, you just might feel you are in heaven already. So I have relations here. I have met a few young people. I like to meet young people and try to advise them or try to share my experiences with them to encourage them. Because sometimes I see them as in a much more privileged position than even when I started, because I had to come from Africa to the Netherlands, whereas they are already here. Yes. And I was just telling one of the young ones that if I was born and educated here up to bachelor's level, I would have definitely gone to a place like Asia or the United States or some other country like even Canada to do a master's. So I think first they should not look at the Netherlands as just a place to be. It is a great place to be, but they should see this place as a platform, and try to be more competitive. Try to learn. If you already speak Dutch and you speak English because of our Ghanaian background, it is useful to learn Spanish. Yes. Go out of your way to take additional courses in chemistry, even if you are a math student. Take additional courses in a foreign language. Take additional courses in something that positions you strategically.
Yeah.
So I invited somebody a few months ago. Sometimes I just ask them, I'm working at the ABN. You mind coming around for a cup of coffee?
Yes.
Those that take the opportunity, I meet them. I try to ask them, what are you doing? We share ideas, and you can see some of them have very good plans. Unfortunately, a number of them, as they've intimated to me, are not encouraged by their parents to study, because the parents want them to leave school early, take up jobs, and then support, which you can understand because some parents are not in a good position, career-wise. So as soon as you're of age, then they want you to help. But I will use this medium to encourage the parents to see education as the best asset your child can have outside maybe morals. I think having academic knowledge is great. It's just fantastic to know a lot of stuff and to use them, to your advantage. So it may be difficult, but I will encourage the parents to support their children, not just to complete the education, but to see them doing well in life.
Yes.
And give them every support necessary.
Yeah.
It may be difficult, and that I can understand, but they must make every sacrifice necessary to position the kids or their young ones in various educational, programs that allows them to go beyond just the McDonald's kind of career.
I think I agree with you when you said we have to also try and do more, as in even if taking extra course to do this, do that, because I've recently also experienced it, and it is interesting because I was born in Ghana. I went to school in Ghana, and from a very young age, I was taught French at school.
Okay.
But I don't speak a word of French. Now, a job opportunity comes, and they are actually looking for somebody who can actually maybe, speak a thing or two in French. In such a situation, then you miss out. And these are all small opportunities, because that little thing might just be that extra thing you need for you to actually,
And so to add to it, I've seen a number of people who have studied law and done bachelors in law and masters in law. And let me also use this opportunity to point out that the professional environment is not static. You see parents who want their kids to study accounting because when they were young, their uncle was an accountant and he was so rich. So a lot of our parents, want, their children to do or to go in certain directions because they have prior experiences.
Yes.
But if you want to become a lawyer and you study law and go on to practice law, it's a route that you see people do. But my personal opinion will be, don't study law at a bachelor's level and do a master's in law. If you identify you want to work as a lawyer,
yes,
and you want to work in banking, so a legal profession, in banking, study law at a bachelor's, do something in business, in finance, so you can get a better feel of the environment within which you want to work. Quite a number of people that I have met that are struggling to find employment would have a first degree in law, a master's degree in law.
Yeah.
Now, when they go looking for work in diverse sectors, because you can have a lawyer who is specialized in medical practice, you can have a lawyer who is specialized in marriage issues, you can have a lawyer specialized in so many other areas of life. So you have to be able to identify in which area you want to go and try to pick some additional, knowledge in those areas, so that you don't become a lawyer who is talking about marriage but does not know what marriage is.
It's like an investment. You don't put all your money in one bowl. You have to spread
it around, get broad understanding of what you want to do.
I get you. That's a very good point. Well, viewers, this brings us to the end of this episode of Footprints with Enoch K. Baffour Owusu here. It has been very educative. I hope that our viewers will listen and take some of the advices that we've just spoken about, and even if not see it as an advice, just see it as an inspiration for you to actually go out there and get what you really want to do. So I will leave you here. Thank you very much for watching. Please keep watching. Stay tuned with us every Saturday. It's right here on your screen, Solar TV. And don't forget, once again, to go to the Facebook page, which is Footprints with Sandra Agyeman. Don't forget to like it, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or requests, do send it to our email address, and I will definitely get back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.